Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. On this week's podcast, I welcome SueAnne Carson and Aakash Desai from the Susquehannock Trail Performance Rally. We talk about the rally, volunteering, and more. So if you could both introduce yourselves. First off, welcome to the podcast, and I appreciate you taking your time this evening and coming on and talking about STPR.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you want to start, SueAnne? Is that?
I can. I'm SueAnne Carson. I am we'll just go with event registrar. And I guess I do a lot of other things too. So I refer to myself as all around gopher as well. So.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So you're pretty busy.
Yes.
Well, you all are, I should say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we all are in that sense, I guess. So my name is Aakash Desai. I am the Chief of Controls starting this year at STPR. I have been around rallying forever now. I think my first rally was when I was 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Growing up in Dubai, that's where my dad took me to my first event, and as I tell everybody the story, and probably all your listeners who had a chat with me at some point maybe have heard this. I think so. My dad took me to my first event at 6 months old when I was in Dubai, and I think all the fumes from the gasoline and the brakes and everything else and the desert sand, I think, messed up all the wiring in my head. And so now I am significantly addicted to this drug that is called rallying. So,
Awesome.
that's my starting there. I mean, we could have a whole conversation on my background and my connection to rallying and my fascination and fanaticism with rallying. So.
Okay, excellent. And what is your title? Well, other than your chief controller, what have you done in the past for STPR?
I started going to STPR back in 2002. That was my first time at STPR. I had just moved to the country 6 years prior, and was always looking to see, where I could go and find a rally to marshal at, and came across STPR, in the early days of the internet, trying to find things around. So I marshaled in 02, 03, on and off from then on for a while, with life taking over and different things happening, never consistently every year. But I spectated, I marshaled, I've crewed at STPR, I have participated at STPR. I have been stage captain and now ultimately chief of controls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks, SueAnne. Yes.
SueAnne, so what have you done in the past?
So ironically, I started in 2002, which I don't think I knew about Aakash doing that.
No,
so
I don't think so.
I guess I kind of find that funny. I was chuckling to myself when he said, "Oh, 2002," and I was like, "Oh, so did I." So I got my ham radio license in 2002. Although now, looking back however many years later, I wish I would have gotten it earlier. And I had been asked for years by people that were like my second parents to, start being involved. And I was like, nah, I don't have the time, but I really didn't have anything else to do anyway. So I got my ham radio license. They stuck me in Germania as the service radio.
Okay.
So my job was to make sure that everybody was connected with their service crews, and the job was don't leave anybody out there. I took my job very seriously.
Excellent.
And as service radio, you connect people. Yeah, we had a fax machine back then, and that's how you kind of got information to net control, was through a fax machine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. So I started with that. I had even had the sweep team chief drag me out of the woods from Germania in 2002 to be like, you don't need to stay out there all night long. I did such a good job in 2002, they made me a committee member. And eventually, I think I did another year of that, but then I took over as the service chief of organizing the services and signing in the crew. And it kind of developed into 1 year. I think I was the co-chief of communications.
Okay.
1 year. It didn't require a whole lot on my part, but it was just a name. And then eventually I just came right into being the competitor registrar, and that's kind of where I've been ever since.
Okay.
But there's been, some things that I've done in the background, from there. So, and kind of been, trying to get into course cars and all that kind of stuff. But my main focus has been the competitor registration and making sure everybody's happy.
Gotcha.
And doing ham radio. So
it's interesting you mentioned ham radio, because I had a guest on, Dan Ring, a couple weeks ago. He said one thing you can do as a volunteer is get your ham radio license. That's one of the good things to have if you volunteer. So
yeah, it's definitely very, very important. I mean, even if you don't use it, at least you're able to, especially when you marshal out in the woods and you're left out, in one of those spots where you're hanging out all day by yourself or with somebody else, and there's nothing much to do. It would be definitely beneficial to have that ham license, so you can at least hear what's going on and kind of get a feeling of what's happening. Because I remember when I used to volunteer out there, my sister and I would hang out, and luckily we would be at spots where there were ham radios already, so we could keep up to date. But there were times when we were in spots where it was just both of us, so we just hung out and hope to hear a car or hope to hear something, but you never do. So it's definitely something to try and get if you can, if you have the time to sit and study for that test. It's not difficult, it's worth it.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I got a friend who has his license, and he said he'd help me out, help me get started. So
yeah, it's not hard. But you're talking to somebody who took it like 3 times and then passed it. But go with your gut with the answers, because I would have gotten it right the first time if I had not changed the answers.
That's good advice. So without getting into the real deep history of STPR, how long has it been in the Wellsboro area? Because didn't it originally start in New York, I think, and then kind of migrate down to Wellsboro? Is that right?
So let's just say that it's been, because we were having this conversation earlier as well.
Okay.
so let's just say I believe the official start date I think is 1977.
Oh wow, okay.
If I'm not mistaken. But then I believe so. Technically, we are there for, not counting COVID, or I guess if you count COVID and so you take that 1 extra year away, we are theoretically in our 49th year.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
But if you take the fact that we didn't do COVID year, then it is our 48th year.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. A year that everybody wants to forget, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
So how many people, folks, does it take to organize STPR on a yearly basis? How many folks do you have on your staff?
On our organizing committee,
Yeah, on your organizing committee.
about 20 to 25, give or take.
Okay.
20 to 25, give or take. Yeah.
Right. And I'm assuming you all have full-time jobs or things going on outside of that as well. So,
Yeah. Of course, majority of us do have full-time jobs. A lot of the organizing committee is also full-time retired, which is
okay.
also, it's a full-time job too.
Yeah.
So we have a combination of experience, youth, some go-getters out there. So yeah, I mean, we have everybody on the whole age range spectrum.
Okay. And what would have been uh, some of your biggest challenges that you have during the year leading up to the event?
I would say one of the hardest challenges is really finding sponsors.
Okay.
I mean, because I think anybody that organizes rally, I think maybe for some organizers, not all groups, but some groups struggle with the money. I mean, rally is not really, you don't make money in this.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so it's really hard at finding
That
sponsors
constant cash
that
flow every
yeah,
year. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, lucky we've been good with getting that. I mean, we haven't brought in as much as we would have liked to, but it's more than we brought in last year. So
Yeah, and actually
that's good.
saying, yeah, and actually to piggyback of what SueAnne's saying is, we just this year has been the most that we have ever brought in. So that was a start, a
Excellent.
positive start for us.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, it's one of those situations where, again, as we said, you don't make money in this sport, but trying to find sponsors to help you year in, year out is something that takes a lot of relationship building. And of course, there are other organizer groups that, have done that successfully. I mean, in different ways. And so we are on our way to build some of those relationships. We've already started having some conversations. Some of our sponsors that have come on board this year have been want to help moving forward, want to partner for the long term.
Okay. Excellent.
So for this year, they may not have given us as much as we would have expected, but that's only because they want to see what our event's about, how our event impacts them and benefits them as well in return. And I can guarantee you that when these sponsors and the fans and everybody comes out this year, they're going to see the benefit of that because for example, the number one thing that we've done this year is we fought hard and worked hard to bring back the super special at the fairgrounds.
Right.
And that has been one of our biggest, I would say, accomplishments so far without the rally even having been run, just to get that back. And a lot of the work and was done by Ed Best of Best Rally Team out of New England.
Okay.
The man drove down 7 hours from Vermont down to Wellsboro.
Wow.
To make it happen.
Awesome.
Along with Alan Smith and Phil Barnes, our clerk of the course and chairman. So, and they're Rochester and Wellsboro respectively. So, so we've made some giant efforts to make it happen so that we can showcase what STPR is all about, what brings back yesteryear memories about the fairground stage. And therefore our sponsors can see what we're doing and how we're trying to get to the masses by bringing the rally to them in their town and then inviting them to come visit us on stages.
We'll be right back. Power up your ride, daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts. They build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show. Okay, excellent.
And to kind of piggyback on that as well, we've had a lot of people that have asked, bring back the fairgrounds.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. Because we got rid of the fairgrounds when we brought on waste management, because that was we had a whole big thing with waste management. We had the dump, we had, this other huge area that ultimately we ended up having to get rid of because of some changes that they had done at waste management. We weren't able to use a certain area. But I mean, waste management has been super, super great as one, as like our title sponsor.
Right.
Because we wouldn't be able to put on a lot of this without them and the work that they continue to do in the months leading up to
the event.
Yes. Yeah. So very thankful for the connection that was developed by actually my late husband in developing all of that stuff with waste management, and the fact that they continue to work with us.
All right. Very nice. So I've noticed both of you volunteer at other rallies. I think you may have both been at Southern Ohio.
Yep.
Which was a bit of a crazy rally. I don't know if
yeah.
A lot of DNFs, a lot of craziness there. But
a lot of nitric acid floating in the air.
I think that's what they called it, the nitric acid rally. For that little bit of a scare right before it all started, right?
Well, Yeah.
So are there going to be, once SCPR is finished, are there going to be some other rallies that you're both going to go help out at?
Yeah, I do 00. I was even at Southern Ohio. I have I volunteered there couple of years ago, and I was stage captain there as well. Moved up to 000 a couple of years ago, and then moved up to 00 this year. And so doing that stuff in the car, and then doing this stuff with SDPR as chief of controls, I realized I need to do what my dad did with me, and which is take kids marshaling and bond with them, because they also enjoy the sport in their own way, but I need to not do it from being on stage in some in a car, or being on or being in an organizing capacity. So I intend to I've already signed up, and I intend to go to Over Mountain with the kids and just go.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Be placed in a spot in the middle of the stage where I can just hang out with my ham radio and my children, and we can watch Travis and Brandon and Ryan Booth and the others just fly by without any responsibilities, and just watch them and have fun.
Nice.
So,
I'll wave at you when I go by.
You should.
Okay. So I'm volunteering this year for the first time ever, SDPR.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Do you have any tips for first-time volunteers? So I don't make any rookie mistakes. And
well, make sure to bring. So the good thing is in this sense is that we no longer have long days into the nights.
Okay.
But you want to make sure you bring yourself a small little cooler with your drinks. You want to make sure you bring your bug spray.
Yep.
You want to make sure you bring your, depending on what type of vehicle you're driving, with what kind of tires you have. You
Hmm.
want to make sure you bring yourself a toe strap, bring yourself a set of jumper, the jumper box. You want to bring
A
your
chair,
a chair,
Okay.
shade, all
sunscreen,
that stuff. Yeah, sunscreen, all that stuff. So
toilet paper, all that kind of stuff. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So you want to make sure you come prepared as if you're going camping for the weekend, like
yeah.
Okay,
natural
got it.
camping.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So
and we also have volunteer lunches that we will be providing.
Okay, excellent.
And we actually got even have waters that we got donated by Seneca Resources, which
Okay.
is a gas company around here, donated a lot of
of
water.
water. Yeah.
So all the volunteers will be able to have lunches, water, chips. I think we're going to be getting some fruits, and probably some like sweet treats.
Okay,
But
Um,
you can
excellent.
definitely,
well,
but you can definitely bring your own,
bring your,
and
yeah,
you
bring
should
your
bring
own stuff.
your
Yeah,
own,
yeah.
your own, you know, people make this a day in the woods
Hmm.
kind of thing, which is, where they bring all their cooking gear, and they bring their meats and barbecue and all that stuff,
Well,
So
except for there's no open flame in the forest.
right, no open
Right,
flame,
yeah.
but
Yeah, no open flame.
you can bring
But
your small little propane thing, that you can cook on tabletop types.
mhm.
Because you have to realize rallying is this your first rally in person, or no?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, this will be my first time volunteering at a
volunteering.
rally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, rallying, whether you're spectating or you're volunteering, there's one phrase I always share, which is you got to wait 5 hours for 5 seconds of fun.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
Yeah,
so you got to keep yourself busy for those 5 hours.
yeah.
Right. All right.
I always like I always bring um like Pringles because that's like in a can, or I mean it's all my stuff is like unhealthy, but maybe like stuff like protein bars.
Okay.
I mean stuff that's gonna hold you for a while.
Yeah.
Um, trail mix, stuff like that.
Got it.
Lots of water. I don't know. It was 90 plus degrees here today with like a
Yeah.
heat index of 100 and something. Akash, I don't want to hear about it. Um,
I'm from Florida, Jim, so
Oh yeah.
so yeah, yeah.
And don't say
and
it's
and
there it's the humidity, not the heat or whatever.
yeah, and so I don't know what it's going to be like in July here. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's 70s, sometimes it could be as like it is today.
It's gonna be
So
beautiful, just like
yes,
Yeah.
just
I'm
like
just happy it hasn't rained this week.
Right.
So
it'll be nice.
Yeah.
drying
Excellent.
out.
So when I went in 2022 and 2023, I couldn't go last year because of work, but yeah, the weather was just absolutely beautiful both times. I
Yeah.
think 2022 was in September.
Yep.
2023 was in June, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
it's
the
gonna
weather
be
was always beautiful, so.
yeah, just like David Evans from Dirtfish says, it's
I think
perfect jumper weather, because he wears a jumper everywhere, so, or a sweater. So
no, I
Right.
think 2023 in June, or was that one in September?
I can't remember.
Last year was June for sure.
Yeah.
I think 23 might have been September.
Still, okay. Yep. Weather
Mhm.
was always nice for when we went,
Mhm.
so. Is there, if someone wants to volunteer, this podcast will come out about a week before. Do you get a lot of any last minute volunteers? Is that okay?
yeah, we
Is
do.
it the more the merrier kind of?
No, always. I mean, currently we stand at about 148 or 149 volunteers.
Oh, excellent.
That includes all the organizing committee members, the sweep
Hmm.
teams, the stage workers, radio, all those. We definitely encourage everybody to sign up, no matter what it is, or how late it is. We have space for everybody. Everybody will have an opportunity to work the rally,
Hmm.
to get up close to the cars, in whatever capacity we can get them in there.
Mhm.
For example, we have one of our stages where fortunately or unfortunately
Mm-hmm.
the spectator area is in such a location where it's really just one way in and the same way out,
Oh
and
yeah.
that actually requires us um, to identify volunteers to specifically help just park those cars, because so that it makes the flow of traffic easy, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where they will never get to watch the cars, unfortunately, the rally cars. So how we have gone about in the most recent past, a
Mm-hmm.
few years ago, we had to do this, was we had to say, look, the only way we can entice people for this volunteer position is to pay them. And so we do compensate
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
for the day. I believe it's a set of usually it's a set of four people, just
Yep,
so
but two different spectator areas.
yeah. Is it
Oh
two? Yeah,
wow.
it's two different
Yeah,
spectators. That's
it's
correct.
two.
Yes,
Yep,
I
and it,
thought it was only one.
yep,
Yeah.
nope, it's two different.
Yeah, so yeah, so we do compensate, right? And it will be up to two people per area.
Hmm.
And again, I apologize. I don't remember the exact number, of the compensation, but we do compensate. If anybody out there is having second thoughts, wants to, and wants to volunteer, and also unfortunately not see any rally cars in action,
Yeah.
but wants to make some money and still get the event swag, then
And the lunch.
and the
There you
lunch and
go. Yeah.
everything else, then
Mm-hmm.
we'll be more than happy to accommodate. And even if it's, I don't know, even if it's $100 for the weekend or whatever it may be, as I said, I don't know the exact number, but
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
still walk away,
Mm-hmm.
with something, right?
I mean, and this is actually something I believe that's even in like our agreement with the forestry is that we have to have these paid parkers.
Oh, okay.
These volunteers. Like this is
All right.
something we have to have
Mm-hmm.
for the spectator areas, and this is something that we need. We have to have
Right.
them, and so anybody that you don't care if you see the cars or not,
There
sign up.
you
Sign up.
go. So,
And make sure you put it in the comments that you want to be a
Yes.
paid parker so we know
Yeah.
how to assign
Yep.
you.
oh, okay. Gotcha. We'll be right back. Hey, listeners. For everyone heading to the Susquehannock Trail Performance Rally, get ready to capture some unique memories. We're thrilled to introduce you to Michael Bordor, a Long Island photographer who's sponsoring disposable film cameras for the event. Keep an eye out for them to grab your own rally keepsakes. Michael is a photographer with a passion for motorsports and all things unique. He truly lives by his motto, fast cars and slow cameras. You see, Michael blends the best of both worlds, using everything from cutting-edge digital gear to vintage film cameras, some even from his great-grandfather's collection. You'll often spot him at events, large format camera and tripod in tow, meticulously crafting each shot. If you're looking for professional media packages for STPR or Over Mountain Rally, you can reach Michael directly at mikesmedia.li@gmail.com. Want to see more of his diverse work, including the fascinating historic tintype process? Visit his website, michaelbodor.studio. That's Michael, BODOR.studio. Now back to the show. So, can you tell us a little bit about what the firm is offering for one lucky volunteer, I believe?
So the firm is offering a class. So I think it's like a 1-day class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have all the information in front of me. But it's a 1-day class and you pretty much get to learn about rally. So it's you have to get yourself down there, you have to, provide your own transportation there, your own hotel and your own meals, but you get a class about learning rally and how to do a car, drive a car and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's really a pretty good deal. I think it might be, like I said, I don't have the information right in front of me. But I mean, like, if I could enter into this drawing,
Yes.
I would. Like, I mean, this is awesome. This just kind of fell into my lap. I met somebody that worked at the firm a couple years ago at McCreary Gravel Rally. I won't talk about how that happened. But, I just kind of reached out to them because, a lot of the other rallies have, Dirt Fish as a sponsor. Right. I mean, obviously Dirt Fish, but, Team O'Neill is all over the place. And I'm like, nobody has the firm. Right. So I reached out and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? What can the firm, potentially give us? And he talked to the management and they're like, hey, we can do a class.
Excellent.
I'm like, sweet, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And the plan is anybody that's 18 and over comes in and they will just fill out, a form to sign up. We will have, actually he will be up here. So the guy, Michael, will be up crewing. Okay. There's 3 of them that are, kind of with the firm. So my plan is that after awards, we would have this drawing.
Okay, excellent.
So, and then there's certain stipulations, that if like this person isn't going to be able to use it within a certain time frame, then they would need to let us know. And then, we would look at drawing another name. So I literally, but I do know that the kiddo, and I call him a kiddo because he was like 19 or 20 that won it last year, had a blast.
Oh, wow.
He sent me a text message and he's like, I had the best time.
That's awesome.
So I definitely am glad that we are doing this again. I am thankful for the firm for doing it.
Was it somebody who was on my stage?
I can't remember.
Joseph Barania? Was that the name? Maybe not. That's what I thought.
I can't remember. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Maybe it was.
I think so.
Okay.
It could have been.
Excellent.
If no one's ever been to a rally school, either one of these rally schools, and you have the opportunity, and you win this, it's definitely worth it.
Right.
So.
I think everyone should go to rally school.
Yeah. I'd almost like one of these years when I go to Sandblast to just kind of take a little bit longer trip to Florida.
There you go.
And go.
You'll melt, SueAnne. If you ever cross the border into Florida, you'll just melt instantaneously.
But can it be it? I mean, it can't be that hot, much hotter in March than it would be now. I mean, it's got to be a tidbit more cooler in March.
You're from the north. You will melt the minute you step.
I did go to school in Arkansas, though. That was rough.
Yeah, I do love Florida.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of work down there in recent years, so
yeah, good.
It is. So, outside of rally, for folks like my wife who's not into rally, but she loves being outdoors, she loves hiking and things like that. What are some fun things to do around Wellsboro if you're not a big rally person or if you might have family?
So I can answer that. I don't know how much Aakash can answer that, but since I live here. So if she likes to hike, there are tons of trails in the canyon. So there's the Turkey Path. There is the West Rim Trail. There's Colton Point. So there's the east side of the canyon. There's the west side of the canyon. There are just tons of trails down and around there. There's even the bike path. They call it the rail trail. I don't know if she rides a bike. But you can ride a bike all along there. It goes like the bottom of the canyon.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's a lot of like hiking and stuff. There's a different couple state parks like Hills Creek has some nice hiking trails. You just have to watch out for those things that have shakers on the end of their
Oh
tails.
yeah, we have those here too.
Yep, yep, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of trails and things like that. And even if stopping in at the Chamber of Commerce, which they're a huge proponent,
Supporter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
supporter of the rally, they have tons of maps. And so they will, I'm not sure when you're getting up here, but they're usually open, I think, like 9 to 4.
Okay.
But they have maps usually in there of like all the trails. I used to work there, so I would hand those
Okay,
maps out
excellent.
constantly.
Yeah, we'll be up early on Thursday.
Oh yeah, plenty of get that
Hopefully you
stuff.
got my email that I'll help out with the Super Thursday night.
Yep.
So
Great.
help out with that. So yeah, we'll be up there early. Chance for my wife to kind of explore it a little bit more than we did
Yeah,
back
the
in
only
2023.
I'm aware of all these trails and kayaking and all that fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff and waterfalls, and I've seen pictures from many of the drivers and co-drivers who've had the time after the rally to explore. I've never had the chance to do so. The only thing I've done, I think, was one of the rallies on one of the Sundays before leaving. All I did was for fun in Wellsboro was go up to the airport and take the little plane ride around in the
Oh,
canyon.
okay, very cool.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah,
That was years ago, though.
yeah. I'm not sure if they do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure.
Yeah.
Well, we do love Wellsboro, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you both for taking time out of your busy schedules to come on and chat about STPR, and looking forward to getting back up there this year, and can't wait to meet you both, and
Yeah.
should be
No
a lot
problem.
of fun.
Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was fun chatting and sharing our insights
Yeah,
on SDPR and how we want to make sure that we go on to bigger and better things
Yeah.
in the future. Yeah.
well, anything I can do to help. So
Absolutely. So
Thank you
I
very
want to
much.
throw in here because I know
Yeah.
Aakash said what he was doing after
Yeah.
STPR for his rallies, but after STPR, I have 2 more on my schedule. So I have Boone
right, okay.
and Over Mountain,
Oh,
where I
okay.
will be probably running safety sweep in both of those.
Oh, okay.
And I've already done 3 this year. So
All right, wow.
and I don't just stick to one sanctioning body. I cross over.
Right, okay. You were at Sandblast, yeah.
I was at
Right.
Sandblast and McCreary. So
All right, well, I'll
Yeah.
see you at Boone as well. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that trip.
yeah, I am interested to see Boone. I haven't
Yeah.
been there, so it's been on my list.
All right, great. Excellent. Well, you both have a good night, and thanks again.
Thank you very
And
much.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you in a few weeks.
See
All right,
ya.
take care. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.